Yeah.
Good stuff. That's it. And so, what's up, guys? Welcome back to another interview today. And today I've got a band from England called Gonesavage. And is that how you pronounce the name?
Indeed, that's exactly right. Yeah, Gonesavage.
Yeah, Gonesavage. Yeah, I'm not good at pronouncing names, but yeah, Gonesavage. And good to see you both on this, both of you on the band.
Nice to be here, Chris. Thanks for inviting us.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Great pleasure to be getting you guys on the interview. So, and do you want to tell what you both do then, as what you do, a wee bio about yourselves? Just what you do, play, like, as in you play the guitar and drums.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Well, I'm Will, and I'm a songwriter alongside Ian in the band. Yeah, I mean, I've been in and out of bands for years and years, as has Ian, and we're kind of in various bands in the Manchester area from the 80s, 90s. We end up together in Gonesavage. We started Gonesavage about 90. Would you say about 90, Ian? Something like
90, yeah, about 90. With the original guitar player was a guy called Andy Halliwell, and the original drummer was a guy called Jim Ross. Jim Ross, he came out of the band Dare. Your listeners are probably familiar with Dare. They was a band that came out of Thin Lizzy. So Dare was a band that went on, did quite a bit of work. Jim left that band and formed a band with ourselves, Gonesavage. So that's a bit of history.
Good stuff. I didn't know you were gone from the 90s then. That's all.
Right, we're wearing well, Chris. We're doing all right.
Fine.
Yeah.
It's been gone for the long haul for sure, anyway.
Yes, we've been around the scene quite a while. Myself and Will, like we even dip into the 80s, believe it or not. Yeah. Sweet Sin. Yeah.
You might be familiar with the Stone Roses and that as well. I was saying. And since you
were in Spiral Carpets, were it all in Manchester?
We were around that area, at that time, yeah, absolutely, yeah. Tony Wilson and that,
Oasis were just a twinkle in their mum's eye when we were hammering around.
On the Rob.
Manchester has quite a lot of these bands. Like I think, like Manchester had its like own genre or something basically, and Manchester is like it's got its own like own music genre. And is it just called Manchester? Did they have that sort of genre? Because I knew there was some bands out there that just called Manchester or something.
Yeah, Manchester, wasn't it? Manchester. And that was all that kind of acid, Happy Mondays. Dancing around with his tambourine in the background and like the Spiral Carpets and all that sort of stuff. Yeah, we stayed away from any of that.
I was quite familiar with some of these 80s bands as well, so I might know some of these Manchester bands, these small Manchester bands. I know the Stones, and there's probably plenty of bands that actually plenty of Manchester bands out there I just don't know about.
There was quite a good rock scene in Manchester, heavy rock scene all through the 80s, wasn't there, Ian?
There were, up on Oxford Street, Oxford Road, and places like the Banshee, Gillies, Rock World, and these are good venues. We played them as well, and back in the day, they would probably hold about at least 1,000, wouldn't they, on the floor? Big venues and big scene. So you had one side, you had like the rock scene, and then further down towards the quay and that, you had the alternative kind of Manchester scene. So you had two really vibrant cultures going there, and like I say, that's where we've come from. And nowadays, if we bring it all forward a bit, Chris, then you come into nowadays, and where Will is from within Manchester, Bury, there's really, really vibrant scene there, more so than probably in the Manchester city. Whereas now it's really is quite diverse, which is good, but there's no real one genre. But in Bury and areas like that, the rock scene alive and well, really well, doing really well.
That's really cool, and it's not one of these scenes I'm familiar with. I'm not familiar with the sort of Manchester music scene, metal scene, and obviously I've been to Manchester a few times, but I've never really drove into the music scene, the metal scene in Manchester. And I'm sure there's going to be tons of metal bands from Manchester and Greater Manchester, and plenty of bands that probably can maybe they could potentially be played on the show and that as well. So
probably quite
absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. There's just so many bands, and I mean, as I say, I've played your song. I think I played a few of your tracks on the show, actually, on my show, and my metal show, of course. And I played your recent one, Cats Caught Me Again, or something. What is it called?
Love Caught Me Out. Yeah.
Caught Me Out. That one. Yeah. I played that one a few weeks back, and I do think you guys have that sort of Def Leppard sound to it as well.
Yeah, you mentioned this before.
Yeah,
and that's what we kind of want. It's not a case of we're not saying we're gonna do the UFO. We're gonna do the Rat, the Motley Crue sound, because we were part of that sound. So we're just bringing it to a new audience now, but in a way that's modern. So we're trying to bring in the production. I do a lot of production, and the writing. I mean, we'll write it solely. And we look at, well, okay, it's a classic rock song, but it's for today. But it's got the elements of yesterday. And a lot of people really hook into that 80s, before obviously 90s grunge and such, and that kind of desert period for rock, heavy rock music, so to speak. So, we do okay by it. We've been there. So we're bringing that up with us, really.
Yeah.
Not reinvent.
Yeah.
Bring it back, yeah. And
we knew if we stayed around long enough, time had
come back. Time will full circle.
Yeah, I have the same problem with my clothes. They're all in the wardrobe, but one day they'll come back into fashion.
Yeah, spandex back or something.
You got it.
Just like the spandex.
Got it.
Get everything.
I'll have a picture somewhere.
Get all the hairspray back.
Exactly.
Everything.
Everything's missing.
Yeah, but grunge kind of killed the 80s scene off. When grunge came along, when grunge came around, the glam scene was pretty much dead by then. So
I'd say it's funny, Chris, because we were doing so like Gone Savage. So between about 90 and about 93, we had just 2 lineup changes. So we had an original guitar player who wrote Love Caught Me Out, Andy Halliwell, creating that 80s vibe. And then we brought in another guy when Andy left called Grant Mallison, who brought in more 90s vibe. And we was hybriding the grunge quite a bit, weren't we? I think, well, that's fair to say. Yeah. Doing a really good job. So like we was kind of bringing the rock through and not getting put by the grunge. What happened to us was we should have been signed to one of these majors, and things just went a bit wrong. And the band eventually folded. But it wasn't strictly speaking because of the grunge. It was more to do with the fact that, things happened. And we'd harnessed that quite well. We'd had a nice little hybrid with grunge and rock music.
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
We did. So the tracks, if you look at stuff like, you probably haven't got these, I'll try and get them to you. Like we had tracks like Into You, Money, Power, Love. They were all kind of like dragging elements of grunge into there and keeping that classic rock feel. So these might get released in time as well. We still have them.
Yeah, that'd be great. Get some unreleased material out there and that as well. Makes sense.
And live performances. We got a live recorded. We mentioned Rockwill before. So in Manchester, this big club, we've got the desk recording of a live set we did there in '92, I think.
Yeah.
And it's really good quality. So maybe that'll surface in the future. So we've got lots of material, lots of material.
It's this stuff that's never got out.
No, it's not going out to the general public. And then this year we're writing the album. So me and Will have created another about 15 tracks. So you've probably heard Bulletproof, Chris.
Yeah.
Possibly. Yeah, Bulletproof. And so that's the new style of what we're writing. So we've got all that to come through this year. Yeah. And we're just currently negotiating for a release for next year with an independent. So that's hot.
Yeah.
Off the press.
Mm.
So that's due to drop 2021.
That'd be great. That'd be great, pal. That'd be great to get some new stuff out there.
Yeah, absolutely.
And would you guys would come up to Edinburgh one time as well? I
keep trying to get a Winter Storm. That's the big one.
Yeah.
I heard of Winter Storm.
Well,
We might do
Recording
one day.
in Edinburgh.
You was recording in Edinburgh. You was. Yes.
The licensing that was recorded at Banana Row in Edinburgh.
So did you actually record that?
You did, yeah.
Did you go to Banana Row or something? There's a place called Banana Row, which is a recording place.
That's where it was recorded, yeah.
Oh yeah, that's cool. Some of our bands from here play at Banana Row as well. Some of our locals.
Yeah, it's a good place.
Yeah, definitely. It's nice. It's a nice wee location as well. I used to do a wee work placement in there many years ago as well, and I knew it's a good venue. And our band as well, we play some jams and that as well. We had some jam sessions on there as well. It's a great wee studio and that as well. It's in central Edinburgh as well, so it's quite handy for these local bands to get towards it as well.
Yeah, it's a good place.
There's plenty of other studios out there around the Woodlands as well. So some of these bands from Edinburgh can go towards these other studios as well. So
yeah, I mean, almost everything else we record is done by you, Ian, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah.
So the way it works, Chris, is so I create the song, and then I record the parts to create a song for Will then to write lyrics, melodies, and he does that remotely. So as a rough idea, so I'm roughly in Manchester, Will's in London, we're in different areas, but so then Will record all the vocal parts, sends them all back to me, and I do all the mixing from here, production, and that's the formula we've used for 10 years, maybe more. And so that's how we do it now. And occasionally we'll go into a studio, say, for instance, he needs to do something, maybe he needs to have a bit more, I don't know, but he might go into Banana Row, like he just said there. So generally, it's all done in-house completely, the lot.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So you got your own studio in that. Well,
yeah, in effect. It says, as you probably see, it's bits of tools, it's a computer, it's a board, it's a interface. It's a studio. It is a studio. I go see my guitars and stuff, and I write and I play bass, guitars, drums, a lot, keyboards. So.
It's amazing what you can do when you own your own studio and that, and you do rows and rows and rows and rows of things. Then you have to travel to these places to do it all and that as well.
And we don't. So it saves a lot of time, a lot of cost, a lot of travel, and we keep the control as well, Chris. So
it's like our bands have to do it. That's what I mean.
Yeah, of course.
A thing, of course. Then so, we used to do it obviously as well with our band. We used to travel towards Banana Row to practice and that, but we didn't record anything. Our band didn't even get any recording done. It's just we played one gig in one of our venues in the town. We played a gig, one-off gig. Our band that we played in never really took off as much as well. So we just played a one-off gig. It's to say it's difficult as well. As myself as a band, I was just in for about 5 years, and I've been playing guitar, and I never really got very far. That's the farthest I got, is to be a gig at one of the venues in Edinburgh. And I think now what I'm doing is doing the radio shows is actually so much better as well. Playing bands, lots of different independent bands, unsigned bands on my station. It's definitely helping a lot more publicity as well. I mean, that's what I mean. just moved away from the music thing, and I just moved away, and then I just started to do the radio, and then I'm doing the radio stuff for most of the time now. Being it's just that's the thing now. That's the full time thing I'm doing now is radio broadcasting and playing bands and doing
there's
that.
a lot of internet stations out there, and it's all good support for lots of bands. So it's great.
Yeah, because we're the first artistic radio station in the world, I believe, to do all this, to have everyone do a radio show on autistic autism spectrum. These are all these radio presenters have autism and that on that station on Sam Radio. So it's really cool.
That's good.
That's
good. Yeah.
No one actually knows about that station as much, but I mean, it's got a lot more publicity than it has because by Malik and playing all these bands and that, it's really helped. I think loads of people will just name drop, mention it on a page, and then it'll just speak one in word of mouth. This cast is on. That's how it works. I think on the social media speed, you just name drop, mention the band's name or something, put it on their post on a page, then that's how it goes. So that's the thing, it's getting more publicity as well. It's really good stuff. I'm really enjoying it. I've been doing it for like 5 years, 4 years, 4 years on the station, so I've been doing it for a while. So just really enjoying it. It's really good stuff to do. So what I was going to do now, some questions, and if you don't mind getting into our questions, and I'm going to mention some questions. So So how did you guys? I think we said this at the start. How did you guys start the band? We were talking earlier. You started in the 90s, didn't you? All?
Do you want to take it, Will?
So you're right there. Yeah, we started in the 90s, and we came from various bands around the Manchester area. Myself from a band called Sam Thunder, and we had Ian and Handy Halliwell from Sweet Sin, and then as Ian mentioned before, the drummer was Jim, who was in Dare. The four of us, the bands then that we were in, were kind of what you might call now hair metal, I would say. We were always a bit heavier than that from Gone Savage right from the very beginning. Hence why we picked the name Gone Savage, because we kind of ditched the back-combed hair and the glam, if you like.
So you didn't feel that stuff,
more down and dirty, yeah. So we had some success there. We played a lot of places around the country. We played at the Marquee in London. That was a good day, and a couple of festivals, didn't we? And a couple of outdoor things. And
quite a lot of biker rallies, didn't we? We used to because of, like I was saying before, Chris, about the sound was leaning towards the heavier end of the rock spectrum, and with the grunge influences coming in, kind of had our own identity. So we got, we did a lot of biker festivals, and that was good. It's good.
Biker festivals, he said.
Backer trucks and stuff like that,
that's cool.
Chopper clubs, so cool. Places you probably wouldn't normally go, but we went, and they were good. And
not like you're wanting the mill playing a venue and that. It gets a bit wet. It gets too much. I think playing the same venue. It gets repetitive. Playing them so many times. These venues, I think.
Lots of different places.
We did some good different sort of things, didn't we? We played that biker thing in the Lake District. Remember that?
We did. Yeah. That was in I don't know if you know the Lake District, Chris. This is Ambleside area, so just away from Bowness, and there used to be a pub out in the back in the hills, weren't it? And it was frequented by lots of bikers and stuff. And we played a gig there one night, and that was a drink.
Can you see that question again? And what was that about? What's that about a pub at Bowness, he says?
So this pub that we will relating to there was in Ambleside, and it was run by a guy who was quite heavily into bikes, and so we stayed up there one night and played a gig for them, and there was a lot of guys in that pub, and there was a lot of drink getting drank. It was one of them proper old school drink gigs.
I think after we finished, he gave us a bottle of Jack Daniels. And me and Andy started knock off and lay on top of the van looking at the open sky, drinking this bottle of Jack Daniels. That's the last I remember. I don't remember what happened after.
So that was back in the day, though. It's good. It's good. Yeah. So
you're quite connected to the sort of biker scene then.
Back in the day, yeah, and not so much now because we don't play as much as we used to. We the last kind of gigs we've been playing are have you heard of the Hard Rock Hell franchise? So Hard Rock Hell, they do all the big gigs like for Skid Row and people like that. They'll play the camps in they're called Haven. So Haven Caravan Parks used to be in North Wales, and now it's in Yarmouth.
Yeah.
And they basically do these events, and they're about 6 a year. Anything up to about 3,000-4,000 attend, maybe more. And they have bands like Skid Row. They have crikey, Taiketo,
Night
Ranger,
played that.
and Bullet Boys.
Bullet Boys, yeah. Skid Row. So we're due to do one next year again. We've played one already, but the last one we played was 2018 with Skid Row. And then we'll do another one next year with Skid Row. And so, it's quite a good franchise.
And this is actually Wales.
That'll be, next year will be in Great Yarmouth. So that's over the coast there, Anglia.
I keep forgetting about Skid Row. They were a big band at the time, and it's surprising how they're just playing smaller festivals now as well. And that's what's happened. They were massive.
Yeah, they were.
What's going on?
Yeah.
It's like quite big, that Hard Rock Hell, is it? Because the night we're playing, we've got Ugly Kid Joe, haven't they?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, they're playing the same night.
They're still quite big.
Yeah, Skid Row were massive, weren't they? They were almost as big as Motley Crue at the time as well. I mean, I don't know. They seem like it seems like a lot of them, a lot of the time, Skid Row, they're not like as popular as they were. Like, you never seem to think of them as much. And it's they've changed the lineup as well.
Yeah.
And I believe they've got what's his name from Dragon Force again? He's on vocals, isn't he? Surprisingly. I'm not sure.
Hang on, it's not Mike Supper, is it?
I'm not sure why they took Seb Bass away as well. He was the cream and the cake as well. Seb.
Good.
And he's obviously not in the band now. That's the thing. It doesn't give it a good touch off, I guess, as to say.
It's hard to see him as the originals. Yeah.
He should be still Dragon Force still.
Yeah.
And that was his other band. That's his prime band. And then why would he get away? Why would Seb just leave the band and get CP in the band? That's just the same. That's one of the weird things. And I don't think he's that Graham. He's a bit more power metal, isn't he?
Yeah.
So it's a bit of a mix. I don't think he would represent the band as well. Maybe that's how they're not as well known now.
You're right. Yeah.
But I mean, as you were saying earlier, bikes and that was pretty much there's a few bike clubs I went to as well. There's one that side. There's a really nice biker pub near South Queensferry actually in South Queensferry, which is near Edinburgh itself. It's a wee harbour just outside Edinburgh. There's a biker pub where a lot of these Hellbilly and Harley Davidson riders would just hang around the choppers and that. And all the weathers and that, all the bikes.
Yeah, they're good. They like the rock, so it's great.
Yeah, and I bet Judas Priest kind of goes along to that stuff as well. A bit that heavy rock, maybe like Turbo Love or something. It's a bit of that sort of 80s stuff going on there as well.
We've had comparison to Judas Priest, haven't we, Will? Which we find a bit odd because I've never really been influenced by Judas Priest at all. Never.
It's quite surprising, because they're like one of the original.
Oh, I've seen them. I saw them with the Scorpions years back. But would I say I go and buy a record tomorrow? No, maybe not. But yeah, people compare our music to Judas Priest, you know.
I mean, I saw them at Budstock as well. I saw them at Budstock a couple of years back, and that was fantastic. And Paul Halford then rode in with rode in a chopper, I think, before Hellbent Beretta was going to get played. I think if I can remember, it was that song of we, and this then rode on his chopper, rode out on his chopper, and then I think it was Hellbent Beretta was going to play or something. It's great track, and obviously that's the sort of biker tradition anyway. Hellbent Beretta, it's always a kind of thing for the bikers anyway. And Priest are kind of like they would be ones that would ride these bikes as well. Or we reckon Judas Priest they probably ride Harleys as well.
Yeah, I bet they do.
Certainly have the same look. They would be on bikes anyway, so I don't see why they would be riding them. So
yeah,
oh man, then Budstock was amazing.
Yeah,
Amazing festival, and I was there for the 3 days as well. 3 days, and so weekend festivals. You know Budstock, actually you know Budstock, don't you? Oh,
I do.
Yeah, it's a great.
We're trying to get in that one as well.
Did you?
You'll know a band that played there. One of my friends, Zentrix. Yeah.
Zentrix. Oh yeah, Zentrix. I love about Zentrix.
Well, the Dennis, the drummer, was in my first band when I was 15. Yeah. And I was in touch with him the other day. Like he lives in where I live. So Dennis.
It'd be cool to actually get them over. That'd be amazing.
There's Dennis and Stan. Chris is gone now. Chris has left. But, you know, Stan.
Zentrix are great. I didn't go that year. They played last year. Zentrix. Then that was the year before that I went, so I didn't see them. I didn't go I only went that 1 year at the moment, and I know. I mean, Zentrix, and I know some of this stuff, and also the for Hughes Hughes Advantage, of course, that's one that, and so I played that on the show a few times as well. It's a great thrash classic, and
cool.
I mean, and Zentrix would be good to see as well. Like if they played some shows around the country as well, or definitely want to see Zentrix. And because they're a big band as well. They're a bit like they're almost as big as their old bands. I think it was Acid Rage or something. There was a few thrash metal bands.
Acid Rain, wasn't it? And they were just on the crest of doing really well with Metallica and Megadeth were coming at the same time, and Zentrix should have been where Metallica ended up, and where Metallica ended up. But their manager, unfortunately, he ended up in the nick. He got sent down. Bit of a naughty boy he was. Dougie Daggers, that's his manager. That's their manager. That was.
Is that Dougie Daggers?
Yeah, Dougie Daggers. Yeah, who put us on at the Guildhall with Sweet Sin. But anyhow, that's a long story. But so I've got to watch out for libel.
Yeah. Stop talking, Ian. Stop talking.
We'll stop now. Stop.
Yeah, it's fine. I mean, I'm waiting to next year, but in Budstock as well, with Judas Priest are playing again next year too, the 50th anniversary one that was meant to happen this year, but next year hopefully, and they'll be up there again playing a lot of their stuff again. Maybe they'll get a new album out. You never know. And don't know if you listen to Firepower, and not sure what you think of that one. That's
somebody compared one of our songs to that, didn't they?
Jorg.
Was it Jorg? Oh, okay.
Jorg in Germany.
Yeah.
That was
really, but
Icon of Today, wasn't it? Icon of Today.
Yeah.
Which you've not heard, Chris, because that's a new track on the new album.
Yeah. Send that to me. That'd be great. Do you want to, guys? Want to ask? Are you ready to ask some more questions again?
Yeah.
Questions.
Questions.
So what hobbies and interests do you enjoy? Hobbies.
Hobbies and interests.
Ian hasn't got
No,
hobbies and interests. He's too busy doing all this.
exactly. I've no time. No time. Funny enough, I keep fish. I keep marine fish. Yeah.
That's cool stuff.
Yeah, I've kept it all in my life.
See, bit of that,
keep
and you
fish.
do a wee bit of fishing then.
Yeah, I used to way back. So yeah, fish, Aquarius, and all that kind of stuff. So that's, and then apart from that, not a lot really. Doing this takes up so much time. It's just one of those things.
The music stuff, of course.
Yeah, it's just, especially with the social media, as you'll probably know, it's relentless, Chris, isn't it? You're constantly.
Yeah, true. I try to keep away a wee bit of the social media stuff. It gets a wee bit bombarding a wee bit, so I just turn it off and never think about Facebook until I put my show up. That's all I kind of do, actually. Just switch it all off. Don't think about Facebook or social media. It definitely helps as well.
Good plan. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not into social media these days. That's the thing, and just then gets a bit too much hectic in that as well. And yeah, I only need it just to post out shows every week. That's it. So that's my. What other things then and what other interests do you enjoy?
Will?
Yeah, for me, I know Ian said I lived in London, but I'm a bit further south than that, and so I like about 10 minutes from the beach. So I'm quite into surfing.
That's good.
So I go and do that. Yeah, it's just getting into the good time now.
Do you have a
nice
V-dub or something that takes you towards the V-dub? Do you have one of them?
I love being in the sea and love being at the beach. So that's my thing.
Yeah. And I enjoy a bit of walking around having a wee stroll around the beaches, and that's nice. I don't do any of that stuff in the nets. Climbing, not my thing, but it's nice to see. It's nice to go on these beaches and that. We're quite nearby one as well, so it's not too far.
You do a bit of beach combing, Chris?
I just like walking on beaches and that, and I enjoy walking in general. Like it's my other thing that I enjoy. It's my sort of exercise. I just get out.
Being out in nature.
Yeah, that's the thing. I get there's some nice trails around nearby me as well, so I can get up to some of these nice places. And I enjoy climbing. I enjoy a bit of walking and stuff and that. I don't do any of that. And I enjoy a bit of playing gaming as well. I enjoy that. What about yourselves? Do you play anything gamers or not really?
Never been into it, Chris. Ever.
Well, I mean, it seems a lot of people enjoy that, and they're just there's so much happening in the world of the gaming. Like there's like new consoles coming out very soon as well, and this is insane. And you think about how far we've come in about 10, 20 years time. We're just playing joysticks and that, and now we've got like these open world games in currently in the future will have like really high end graphics, and it's just insane what games have changed in the last 20 years. And it's probably in the next 10 years the games are going to be photo realism or something. That's how good the games are going to be. They're just going to be insane, I think. Eventually everyone
technology is advancing at a rapid rate.
I know as we speak as well, so there'll be so much happening. It's the PS5. It's coming out the PS5, and it's an Xbox and Series X, I believe it's called. It's the new consoles, and they're going to be massively improved on the PS4. Like nearly as powerful as a gaming computer, but maybe not quite there yet. But I mean, it would probably play PC games pretty easily. So, but maybe that eventually people will upgrade their PCs up from the consoles. But I mean, this will be I mean, they'll be really good. They're definitely going to be the best consoles, I think, for the time being. So yeah, I enjoy a bit of gaming. So I play a bit of console gaming. So I'll do that in the same time. Enjoy a bit of wrestling game. I enjoy a bit of playing a bit of WWE 2K and that. There's a few games I enjoy. Like to just enjoy and travel around, and I don't do online gaming and that. I'm just telling you, just do single. Using multiplayer, it's a bit different. It's a bit hectic to set up an account as well and doing all that. That's something that I tend not to bother doing. So yeah, but yeah, game is another thing I enjoy. And outside music, it's my interest. Walking and radio shows, of course. And I like a lot of classic vehicles as well, like classic buses and trucks and that as well. Try to see a bit of that. It's always nice to see now and again. It's something that's quite eye catching in that. Usually, I could be talking about you all day about classic. I could be talking you all day about my interest in vehicles and that. I like I like the old classic buses a lot more as the main interest. I mean,
yeah,
my uncle actually used to body buses back in the day. He worked in a bus firm up in Scotland, and Alexander, and he bodied buses, built a lot of old buses, and Wayland Olympians, all Olympians.
That's where I'm from, Chris. Leyland.
Oh, do you know them as well? Well,
I live in Leyland. So
yeah. That's
where all the buses were built. Fish rigs.
That's the place down nearby yours. Anyway, I've heard of it, and that's probably
near Preston.
That's where is that the place where they build? So is that town named after Leyland?
There's nothing there now. Well, there's a little bit still left, not very much, but they used to build all the Leyland trucks, buses, a lot here.
Yeah, and they were a big company. They were
massive.
They're like the pretty much like the what do you say? What should I say? Like the Ford Motor Company of the UK. Pretty much, they built everything. So they had you had engines in some of the Wayland trucks and buses, and a lot of Wayland engines are quite well known as well. A lot of engines have been done. A lot of truck and bus engines have been rebranded as well. So it's quite surprising. So DAF actually used the Wayland engine as well. So you can tell me. I know a lot about that stuff as well. So and after Wayland, I think it was still Wayland, but Wayland DAF obviously took over the lights as well in the late 80s. But some of the Wayland engines were branded as DAF as well. So surprisingly, it's still a Wayland engine, but it was actually a DAF. It was a Wayland engine, but it's also branded as a DAF model of engine. So it's quite surprising. So Wayland bases of a DAF engine, and so. Yeah. I don't know if you know much about bus types yourself, so that I don't know if you know vehicles.
No, not really. No, I'm not an automotive person at all.
I can talk to you about.
Yeah, don't ask about cars or anything like that. Who knows?
Right. The old Ever trucks as well. Like EIF was a company as well, which was quite big back in these days as well. Like Foden and EIF, there were two big British companies following trucks and buses, and EIF. You might not be familiar with these both, and then there's Foden as well. They've made buses and trucks, so they're like two big companies as well. But they went away. They got bought over by MAM, and I think Foden actually just went to Labo, and EIF got bought over by MAN. So MAN trucks pretty much took over the likes of EIF. So some of the EIF trucks that you see in the road are basically MAN cabs, but EIF branding on them. So it's quite depending what they do. So much I mean, I'll probably won't talk about too much about that, but we'll keep the interview suitable for this. So yeah, that's my thing. That's one of my main other interests that I just can just talk about all day pretty much.
Yeah.
So another question I'll ask, and what your music influence? So back to a music question again. Influence bands, music bands influence you, influence.
Ian?
It's hard to say, Chris, really, because I don't tend to listen to something and then write, if that makes sense. I tend to write and it ends up like something.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
influence, it's like, because myself and Will, we listen to anything from folk to metal and all things in between. And we write stuff which will have maybe one acoustic guitar, and then we'll write something which will have the whole symphonic setup.
Yeah.
So no, I mean, our influences are probably melodic. So
it's not like a
practical
question generally, and you just go what you get. You don't really think about influence from other bands.
No,
I mean,
no, we don't. I don't set out to write like that.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
We're not looking at what's current and saying we need to do a track. Like what I see at the moment is a lot of southern rock, as I would call it, influenced in a lot of bands. So your Alter Bridges, your Blackstone Cherries,
yeah,
and all these bands. And I think I don't want to go and write a song like that because everybody else is doing it, you know. So
yeah.
I don't have that. Certainly don't work like that. No. So they don't influence me.
But the sounds similar. That's what I mean. As an influencer, kind of in the same thing, where they could be put in a place with like bands that could be. You think about it as well, influence. You think it's a place where they just put bands in a wee slot. So like, as they say, like Autumn Bridden's, Spats and Cherry, they would be in the same place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what I mean. They pretty much sound the same, pretty much. So they could be matched up to these bands, and that's what I mean.
I tend to get an influence, Chris, from a sound point of view. So if I hear something that's done well, so like a good guitar sound or a good vocal sound or good drum sound, not the music, but the sound will influence me then to write. So example being Rammstein for me. So when I hear a Rammstein track with lots of dynamic, I then start to write a song, not the same, but it has the same kind of impact. It has the same kind of space. It has the same kind of drive. So I get the sound. It's that hearing that sound. So you could actually, like a U2 song for me, I could hear some U2 and think, yeah, I could do that for a nice intro. I could develop that in my sound.
Yeah.
So influence, but not in the writing context. More in how do I hear it?
Yeah, there's so much. It's so much these days. Like everything you think about it as well. Everything's been done in music and rock music. Everything kind of sound when everything comes out, it sounds similar to something else, and that's what I mean.
Yeah.
And you can't really see any band. You can't really think of anything that could be new to music. It's just
brand new. No, I don't think
difficult.
so. There's nothing brand spanking new that you've never heard before. Like, back in the day, but imagine the Beatles when they came out. You'll remember this, Will.
I don't know what you're talking about.
That was completely different. And so, same with Elvis, completely different. Yeah. And I don't think nowadays is anybody anywhere going to be able to do something completely different. It's gone. For me, unless you're going to do something that's so bizarre, like, I don't know, sort of like a craft work kind of thing going on. One guy in a xylophone going like that.
Yeah.
That could be classed as different, but anybody want to buy it? I don't think so.
I think it was after new metal or something, when new metal kind of went away. After new metal, which was in like the early 2000s, everything I think was kind of aged now with music. So you hear some bands that say on the radio in general are different to each other. They don't play like a new metal show or that, and so you kind of don't see like new metal coming back again as a big bang again. Like went back in the early noughties again. It was a big genre. You got like Limp Bizkit and Limp Bizkit and then Colin and that and Ian Anthem. There's so many new metal artists that came around that time, and that was a new genre, I guess, in a way. In that late 90s, early 2000s thing, it was a big thing as well. I mean, I think it kind of faded out a way about the mid noughties, early noughties, in the mid to early noughties, they faded away, and I think from there it was a bit of a. I think the music nowadays is kind of mixed in, so you get a bit of these metalcore bands. I think it's a bit more, maybe a bit of popper thing now, I think, but that's maybe going to dive into the other genres as well. It'll just be a thing in the past in a couple of years. And what's going to happen? What's going to be after metalcore? No idea. You don't know what's going to be happening. What happened in metal? It can be variety. And
I like bands that can change their sound as well. You know, totally change it. Like the likes of Linkin Park and Bring Me the Horizon. They've got on X-Ray and done something totally different.
They've got
development.
Electronic bits in it as well. So like Limp Bizkit, they've got these electronic pads, and it's quite modern. And I think Bring Me Horizon had that sort of thing as well. And it's like electronic rock. I think that's the thing. So you hear a lot of some rock with pop beats in it as well. That's the thing. It seems to be dragging up a little bit now. I think maybe. I don't know, but it seems that's a popular thing now. Electronic rock. So something like that. Maybe they'll do metal that way as well, with electric beats instead of analog old school beats, drum beats, and that. They might be completely different. I don't see that happening. That's just an opinion.
I don't think so.
It wouldn't sound like having a metal song with electric drums, and you want to have it full old school. But yeah, so much in genres. Are you ready for another question?
Yep, go ahead.
This one will be the one. This is the icing on the cake. What guitars and basses, instruments, gear do you all use? I can see you got Les Paul behind you, so that's something that I can see.
that was an Epiphone. So
Yeah,
it's not Gibson, it's an Epiphone.
Yeah,
Les Paul.
Les Paul. I said.
No, it's Les Paul shape, but it's an Epiphone, and it's really good. I mean, the thing is, back in the day, I used to use Rickenbacker, and awful tale, but I was influenced by the band I was in, Sweet Sin, to go with an image guitar, and this was like Charvel or Jackson. And the reality is, these guitars, they're not as good as what they claim to be. So that guitar there is like an Epiphone, which to me is as good as a Les Paul for what I want it to do. So that's one thing. And then I still use my Charvel over there somewhere. And then I use Yamaha for acoustics. I've got Ibanez as well for different guitar parts. What else have I got? I've got my Fender Telecaster. I've got my Fender Stratocasters for different parts. So lots of different guitars. 20, I think. Wow. Something. And then basses I use. I predominantly use my jazz bass, Fender jazz bass. I've got a precision bass as well, but I don't like that as much. Which again goes back to the vanity of buying it. I bought it to collect a long time ago, and yet the bass to play is not very good. So you think, well, why did you buy it? It's for that. So the best bass that I play currently is my jazz bass, my big jazz bass. Do you want to see it?
Yeah, if that's cool to spit it up, that'd be cool to see it.
I'll show you what it's like. So
that's cool.
this one, Chris, this is my Charvel.
Yeah.
That's a piece of history. That was in Sweet Sin. So through the 80s.
So that guitar's that really that old, isn't it? So
Yeah. So you'll see this on a video. I'll send you a link to Sweet Sin, a video we do with Sweet Sin in Manchester, and that's on it. So that's history. That's but this cost me 2 Rickenbackers basses, and the Rickenbacker basses are worth probably £2.5 each. This is worth £300. Careful what you sell. So, but it's a good bass. I do all the gonesavage stuff on that one. And then this other one is just basically. So again, this is that Epiphone. So
yeah.
It's a good guitar. It's a fantastic guitar, but obviously it's not got the same. That bit's different on a Les Paul, and that bit's different on Les Paul. But it's what I write all my stuff on. Cool, nice guitar.
So is that famous cover that they put them in as well, the Sunbus cover?
Well, that's why I got it. So it's not quite. See, my favourite guitar player is Billy Gibbons. ZZ Top. You familiar with Billy Gibbons?
Yeah.
So he has a guitar called Pearly, and it's the classic Sunburst, and that's as close as I could get without paying about £3,000 or £4,000. I can't play it that well. So there you go. And then I've got other guitars, but they're either next door in the studio or upstairs, because I have a cellar. I have a studio in the cellar.
So you can sell these guitars to other people to buy them as well.
Yeah, I don't sell any guitars now.
Okay.
That area.
What about yourself, Will, then? What do you do?
Me, I just plug the mic in and do what I'm told.
So it doesn't take you very long to show you to go for Yigi then.
Yeah, that's it really. I use an Audio-Technica condenser mic to do the backing vocals, and the rest of it, yeah. It's easy to turn up at a gig with nothing.
Yes, simple buys as well when you're just a vocalist and you don't need to work to get all that. To get all your stuff ready and that to play.
Yeah.
Like they're always like the last person on the stage pretty much when they want to start playing. The vocalist can the front man usually can just run up the stage before the song when the song's pretty much playing. And that's how maybe what some of them do. It's it's not like it's easy thing to set up. I mean, yeah. And is that all we can say about gear and amp wise?
Yeah, amp wise, I don't use much. No, I'm still using my Ashdown over there, and I tend to take the head. A lot of the gigs we play, Chris, they'll have cabs provided.
Yeah.
So what you do generally is you bring your head in, obviously bring your bass in, and then you just put that through their cabs that are provided. So I play bass live. I don't play guitar live. So if we get guitarists in to play the guitar parts, same thing. And most of them bring a board now, Helix boards, things like that, and then basically all the sounds are in the board. Plug it into the head. Off you go. Dead easy.
So it's not
back in the day. I'd had what do we used to have? Mostly 4x12 Marshalls, proper stacks. So in Sweet Sin, I think we had 4 each, and it was just so you don't need it. You just don't need it. Visually, it looks fantastic, but you just doesn't need it. You don't need it anymore. So
it's a bit more simplified now. Setting up.
Yeah, very much so. Very much so.
Maybe some of our bands have amps as well. And I think they're provided. I don't know if they bring their own stuff as well. I've seen a few times that they have their own amps in the stage as well. It's maybe just depends what band's playing.
Generally in-house. Most venues these days have in-house. Backline, drum shells, that kind of thing, So.
It can be done, but it can be anything because I know some bands do that, and some bands bring their own mics and amps and drum kits and that occasionally. but not all the time. Usually drum kits. Usually that's a hassle. I think the drum kits are usually the Stone kit and the venue actually has. So usually when I'm at venues and that in town, and sometimes there's usually a sound guy doing all that stuff as well. He sets up, makes all the sounds all okay as well, and obviously you got your I think what's it called? I can't remember what it's called again. The they're called again. It's the speakers that you put in, the speakers when you're on the stage, and
monitors.
Yeah, that's it. And you put the monitors on, and that makes sure everything's at your own volume as well. And I'm sure if I'm hearing it from my side, I'm sure the speakers from the output speakers from the stage will still be coming out that volume as well. It changes. There's a lot of bands that do all that. I mean, we don't have like big venues in here. I mean, most of the venues in Edinburgh feel mid-sized, small. They're not like big venues for big bands to play. So it tends to be a lot of smaller bands that come along the road and that to play here. Or then again, we get some big bands that's the way, and play the Liquid Rooms. This is another venue in Edinburgh. It's had Dragon Force. They played there. I think they might have played there a few times. Maybe not. Maybe in Edinburgh, but maybe that Liquid Rooms. I think they played there once. And what other bands? There's Dragon Force. There's Machine Head that played about 6 years ago now, and that was sold out apparently in a couple of minutes. So I was a bit disappointed on that one. And Heroes, and yeah, it's difficult to keep up with all the bands. I mean, there's Skin Dread. I think they might have played there. I don't actually remember terribly 100%. Usually most of the venues I would go and see bands is even at a place called Opium, and this is the gig. This is the venue that we played our gig. This is in the city. Obviously, it's in the Cowgate. This is a part of Edinburgh, and Opium. It's been around for about 30 years, that venue, and so it's had quite a lot of bands, probably hundreds of local bands that played there. I've seen plenty of bands myself at the venue. I try to think what the biggest band I've seen. The biggest band, there was a band last year called Death Awaits, was a very heavy, and they seem to be quite well known to a lot of metal fans from around Europe and that as well. And another band as well called and they're called Black From, I think they're called, and I think they're from Norway, and they're all fairly big as well. They played there too. But yeah, I don't know how many big bands I've seen in my time at the venue. So it's difficult to keep track, and your mind goes over the place and that. Most of the bands I see are most of our local bands that I've seen a few times. So yeah, you hear me okay, guys?
I can, yeah.
Sorry, I don't know if I'm speaking too quiet.
No, I can hear you, Chris. Have you got any more questions, Chris? Because I'm going to have to go in about 10 minutes.
Yeah, I've got a few more questions, and
yeah,
go on actually to wind the interview off that. Sorry, and I'll be getting my dinner soon anyway. So, so if there's any new music on the way, then new music.
Yes, lots of new music. So we've got the latest single is Love Caught Me Out, which you've got. Yeah. And that came out the end of September. And then what we're doing now is we're going through recording the album. So the tracks are written. We just need to get some finished off. We have 6 already mastered, ready to go. We've got another 6 in the demo. No, sorry, 6 in studio mode and 3 more in demo mode. And that will be released next year. The album's called Past Life. And we're just looking for a suitable label to drop it on. So we're going through some interviews with labels at the moment. So we should have some news within the next month, maybe January.
That'll be cool.
And that'll be then out probably next autumn. So a year away, but this is
next autumn. So it's going to be that. It's going to be a long time. So I kind of got that's quite. I kind of have this.
But we may drop another single, possibly. It just depends what happens, Chris.
Yeah.
So that's where we are with music.
No, maybe see if I can get it out there as well. Get out there in the world of Sam Radio, of course. So what do you have? You probably don't want to say this in mind, but what record label do you think you might be signing to?
We can't say, can we? Really will.
Yeah.
Not really, not until we've actually signed it.
Not really, no. So, but it's all being well. It'll be one you've heard of, and all being well, it will help us.
I might know them. The record labels.
I think you will. I think you will.
It's a big one.
They're all independents, to be fair. So people these days don't get signed to A&M or Universal or Sony, BMG. Really, that doesn't happen anymore.
There's a few metal ones as well. There's like Nuclear Blast and Central Media. I think they're like the 2 metal ones, the big metal ones.
Yeah, and there's
maybe. I think Listenable Records as well. I think that's another one that signs some metal bands.
Yeah.
Yes, so many record labels like that.
So we'll let you know as soon as we know, Chris. You'll be the first to know.
That'd be sweet. That'd be cool. Well, I'll definitely look forward to hearing these singles as well. It'd be great to hear that.
Yeah.
So you got plans for tour as well, and when things get back to new normal.
Do you want me to go with that, Will?
We've got a couple of festivals already booked for next year, haven't we?
We have.
It's called Sav Fest, which is in Nottingham, isn't it, Ian?
Yeah, so Sav it's moved to Leicester, but Nottingham, Leicester. It's Leicester. It's on the border, and that's called Sav Fest, SAVFEST, and that's in conjunction with a we call it a movement, new wave of classic rock. So you might have seen that in Facebook land, and they call it the new wave of classic rock. So they're heavily involved in that. That's a good one. And then we play the Hard Rock Hell Festival 14 next November. And that's in Great Yarmouth, and the top of the bill on that one is Ugly Kid Joe and Skid Row and Terrorvision. I think, are they playing?
The Wild Hearts.
I know Phil Campbell's playing.
Yeah, it's a few.
It would be quite cool. It would be quite cool to actually give a shout to spread some word out there for the radio station to the bands. That would
absolutely,
be quite.
Yeah.
Some of these guys would definitely get some more establishment as well. If it's the case, you bring with some of these bands, maybe you can get some word up to some of these. Give some word out to them and that the radio station.
We try to look after anyone who supports us, don't we?
We do, Chris. And I'll get some. See, a lot of the bands. See, I do a lot of work with radio stations, so I think currently we have airplay on about 100 plus stations, and the way that I work it is that then obviously they play us, and then if say like you want some bands, I'll be able to influence bands to send you music. So I'll do that. I'll start doing that now for you. So basically, you'll start getting bands approaching you saying, "Look, can you play this? Can you play that? Can you play this?"
Yeah, I'm getting that.
So and that's the way that I give back.
Yes.
So stations that support us will then support you with bands, and it'll be a two-way street.
Yeah, it's usually PR companies, which is a good thing.
Yeah,
that's the thing.
So I can hook you up with like Duncan McKellar and people like that, and Rick Paul.
He's the one that's been sending me some music, and sending me some great bands at the moment
Dunks,
as well.
Dunks are good, and there's Catherine, and there's other people, Emma Miles, and there's Rick Palin from Skyfire. So I'll hook you up with these people.
Yeah, I'm going to be bombarded to a lot of emails.
You will.
Now. That's
to get battered.
Yeah, it's difficult to keep up to them as well. But I do try
that's
to get.
The problem.
Yeah, and you kind of forget about your.
So we'll help you where we can, there, Chris. No
that'd be great. And have you got any plans to other festivals before we call?
Yeah, it depends on where we go with this deal, because the potential is that we could be put on to some tours. So the vision for the band is always going to be odd festival, and then maybe a run of dates. So maybe 7 dates in the UK. We're not going to be playing every week. So hopefully when we get the label sorted out, then we'll announce a little mini tour, and then we'll just do a few dates around that. So that's how we would do it, Chris. We won't be up and down the country all the time.
Yeah, that'd be sweet. And so I'll just ask 2 more questions before we wind this off. You got a dream gig you like to play? Just a gig anywhere?
Dream gig.
Dream gig, blimey.
That'd be a hard
Somewhere
one.
in Tahiti.
Tahiti. Do you know, fully enough, we was approached to play the Hard Rock Cafe in Bangkok. Now I fancy that one because they Mr. Schofield, one of his associates, and they are really into it. So you're playing the Hard Rock Cafe like it used to be. Like if you go to Hard Rock Cafe in London, it's just full of tourists and people who've never even heard of a rock song. Yeah. But in Bangkok, it's still hard rock, like you would in the California bars, Will. Hollywood one, you know what I mean? The Whiskey A Go Go. So it's still got a really good reputation. So that would be a good one. That'd be all right.
I thought it's like one of these cafes that people just go to and never think about metal music or rock music. They just go for it for just to have some food.
Exactly. Say you've been to the Hard Rock Cafe, it's
just
general. Anyway, so that'd be a good gig. That'd be all right.
That's cool. Go all the way to Bangkok to be a gig in that thought. That's quite intense.
Yeah, that'd be good. Pretty good. That.
You must have a bit of a metal scene then, Taiwan. I never thought of Taiwan being a bit of
I went once, and there was they are quite into their rock music, and they're certainly influenced by like John Lennon's and your Beatles and your Who and your American 70s 80s scene, and the kids there play it, and they play it really well. I was listening to a bass player, unbelievable bass player,
Frank Zappa as well,
and Zappa,
all
that, Grateful Dead, all that stuff.
That's good stuff. I hope that happens. That'd be good. And dreams come true. Taiwan, that'd be fab. So, the last question is a shout out question. So, if you want to give a shout out to social media platforms or about the album and check you guys out, any exclusive links or something.
So, okay. So, social media, we've got presence virtually everywhere. Facebook. So, Gone Savage UK is the hook for Facebook. Twitter, Gone Savage Band. And we have Instagram as well. Similar, just search on Gone Savage, you'll find us. Now, what we're doing now is we're creating the website. So, if you look at gonesavageband.com, we've got our website coming on now, and the intention is to take more out of social media and put it into our website. Yeah. And that is going to be the best place for you to go. We're going to be having blogs in there. We've already got all kinds of things going on in there that you don't get on Facebook.
That's really good as well.
Yeah, you can buy the music from there. You can listen to it. So it helps us as well because Spotify, all the download sites, they just completely don't help the musician. Yes, you may get people listening to it, but people don't buy it, people don't save it, and people don't interact with it. This site, we're doing all that as well. So you've got music, video, blog, you can buy things, you can read about things, you can have all the links to all the other social media sites. So it's the place to go. So it's gonesavageband.com. So there's my sales pitch.
Great stuff. So
And it looks really good as well.
It looks excellent. Yeah.
That's great. So is that everything? You got a Neon Bandcamp for that as well?
Bandcamp, yeah, and that does nothing. A lot of the streaming sites, Chris, are not good for the bands because it's too easy for people just to browse. You're probably a collector like I am, and like Will was.
Yeah.
When we bought music, we
albums,
bought albums, we bought CDs. You want to read things, you want to see things. Whereas a lot of people these days will just have it on in the background while they're doing the crossword or whatever. They're just not listening.
I've
got absorbing it.
Got most of my albums just lying around so many albums I've got myself. I just got them lying around and that and hidden and that as well. And it's good to keep them safe and that and sorry. Because I know everyone just would be getting rid of these CDs and giving it to someone else. It would just pass them on. That's the way it goes. And
give me your address, Chris, and I'll send you one of our. Bear with me, caller. It's gone.
You okay? You okay? It's been great. This has been a really great interview. We enjoyed doing this.
Good. Yeah, me too. Yeah. I don't know what Ian's looking for now.
No, I have no idea. We're going to finish it off here, thank you.
Don't go away, folks.
Get lost in that.
Digging into some stuff anyway.
Right, I'm back. So I'll get you one of these sent up, Chris. Can you see that fella?
Yeah, I can see it.
You stole him.
So
that's Resurrection, which unfortunately doesn't have Will on it. I was done before Will came back. That's one I did last year for Sweet Sin in Steel Art, Italy.
Sweet.
Okay. So I'll give us your address and I'll get you some sent up.
That'd be great. So what I'll do, and I'm going to, as you guys finish the interview, it's been great to get you guys on, but I'm going to finish this interview off, and it's been great. It's been great doing this, but thank you very much for having you both on the show, and so we appreciate it. And so as I say, make sure you check out my YouTube channel, CM Headbanger. You can give us a subscribe and a like and comment, and make sure you spread this out as well. Share the interview and that as well. It's always a great thing. So so thank you very much for taking the time.
Chris.
And
thank you, Rowan.
I really enjoyed that.
Okay, thank you.
Hopefully I'll see you guys soon. I mean, I look forward to seeing you guys maybe play some gigs up here. So
absolutely.
So take it easy, and I'll see you guys all again.